As I said the last couple of days, what we are doing here is merely a method to verify that the statements made by these great mystics and saints, that the truth lies within us, and we can find the ultimate truth all within ourselves, that these meditational techniques are a way to verify that truth. They are means, not a goal. They are means to know that we have more than this physical body which makes us alive and gives us the experience of this world. That we have something inside this body which looks like part of the body because it is embedded in this body, but it can work independently also. Even when we leave this body, that inner self still is alive. When we are born, that inner self embeds itself into us, provides us, along with it, a mind and a soul which keeps it alive, and also it helps us to see the world, touch the world, hear the world, and use sense perceptions. These sense perceptions are independent of the physical body. Though if we have no knowledge of something existing beside the body, we think they are dependent upon the organs of this body. They are not. Because when we die, they still exist. You can still see with no body. But you don't feel you have no body. You feel still you have a body. But it has no matter. Now, am I just saying something based on hearsay? No. All of you can verify it. You don't have to wait till you die to verify it. You can die while living, which means you can have the identical experience of death while you're here. So dying while living provides you proof that there is something more than the physical body that constitutes our total self at this time. And that is why these meditational practices help us to verify these truths. A large number of people have been able to have some experiences by which they feel there is something else. Some people have had secondary experiences, like they say a person died, but we feel the person is still in the house. They say this house is haunted, and we can see the spirit. Sometimes we can see the spirit and it disappears. Sometimes those spirits open doors and windows. They try to at least open doors and windows, but they can't do it because they don't have matter in their body. But they try to, with their energy, try to do those things. A friend of mine, I hope I have his permission because he's in the audience. He was looking to buy a house in Chicago area, and then suddenly the realtor told him a very nice house is available, owned by a lady who just died. And the children are far away and they are not interested in the house. They say, sell it as it is, along with the furniture, along with some unopened equipment like computers. So it was a great deal. And he told me, it's a great deal coming. I said, that's great, buy it. So he bought the house. After he bought the house, he told me, I think that lady is still there. Because sometimes they see a chair moving, a rocking chair, when there is nobody. He says, the worst thing is when I'm in my bedroom, in my privacy, it looks like she opens the door and peeps in. That is not good at all. I said, I'm sorry that she is bothering you. I'll come and try to help you. I went and told the lady, of course, invisible. I said, please leave this man. He's not used to these things. So the lady left for 2 months. I couldn't find any other place, so came back. Then I said, she must be missing the fact that her children never cared for all the things she left behind, not even the house, not even the furniture. So I said, maybe if we take a piece of the furniture away, she might come with the furniture. So my wife and I, we went to his house and we picked up a piece of furniture. And I knew the lady was watching. At least I thought so. if she's interested in the furniture. And we brought the furniture to our house. He got no further problems. We started having. We would hear some strange sound sometime. She was trying to express herself. Then ultimately, we said we should take her to a nice place. So we brought her to Wisconsin. We had to bring some furniture too. I am telling you this story just to say that so many of us have had the experience that when you die, everything doesn't disappear. There is something that stays. During my official duties as a district magistrate in one of the districts in India, somebody told me that there is a very remote place where nobody goes because of haunted house. The guest house, which used to be a palace of an old prince who was murdered there, looks like the prince is still in a spirit form, in a ghost form, and therefore nobody goes there. I said, I don't mind going there. I always thought that I was very comfortable with these disembodied spirits. From childhood, sometime when I was a child, I could feel there were other people and I would call them and they would run away. I said, why are you afraid? That was very young. But then I said, I have to go there. So I went and stayed there. In that old house, dilapidated palace, big building, but nobody was there. There was no electric power there. So we had to use some artificial light. And we had to, I was doing a lot of work in those days, a lot of paperwork. So I was carrying so many of my paper files with me. And I sat inside with that incandescent lamp that I was using, gas lamp. And I was working at night. There were some sounds here and there coming. I ignored them. I was so busy with my own work. It was very hot. There was no electricity there. There were no fans. So we slept outside. So my attendant, who accompanied me, my secretary wouldn't stay there. He said, I'm not going to stay there. He ran away. But one attendant was there to do my bed. And he put a bed, and because there were mosquitoes there, he put a net on it. We used to have a mosquito net in India, and it was hot weather. So he put the net, and he said, I am going. I said, where are you going? I am going to a village there. Nobody stays here. So I was left alone. So I said, doesn't matter, I don't know if any spirit is here or not. If there is any, it will be all right. I am accustomed to seeing spirits and being with spirits. So I finished my work, came out, and I closed the door. Didn't lock it because it was just a door, there was no lock on it. Closed the door and went and stepped into that net. As soon as I lifted my feet to get into the bed, the door opened. I said, maybe there's no wind or something for the door to open. So I got out of the bed. This is a very old story. I'm a very young man talking of that time. And I got out and but I closed the door again and I came back, and as soon as I would put my feet up, the door would open. I said, this is amazing. Then I recalled that they told me it's a haunted house. Maybe it is a haunted house. And so I said, doesn't matter, leave the door open. And I tried to sleep soundly. When suddenly, above the door, there was a kind of a ventilator. They have small ventilators on top of the door there. I saw a huge bird, like a black bird, just flying out of it. I said, oh, now I know what the problem was. It was a bird. So I went to sleep. The morning I got up, there's a very big, thick gauze, steel was there. So I thought there was nothing. And how the bird escaped from there, I still don't know. But those people came back, they said, are you all right? I said, I'm fine, the bird went away. Now, then I told some other officials, now you can go and stay there, there will be no problem. And there was no problem after that. They have also felt that maybe I am what is it called, exorcist, but drive away spirits. So when I first came in the 60s to this country, United States, somebody said our house is haunted. I said, no problem. I come over and drive the haunted people away. So I made a visit, they never had that again. The point I'm making is that there are examples of such experiences by many people who feel that when we die, something remains. It's not visible to us. But can we see them while we are still in the body? If they can see us, they can try to contact us. And they do try to contact us. All these things that we are hearing about their activities, is they are trying to contact us. They are missing us. Maybe we are missing them too, and that's why they are missing us. That is why people come and tell me, my mother died, and I am missing her. I said, please don't hold up her progress. She probably wants to go to a higher place, in a better place. You are holding her back. When you are missing her, she will miss you. You wish her good journey, wish her the best. Say whatever is happening, I wish you, I pray for the best for you. I say that to all the people who ask me about people, their seniors or elders who passed away. That help them to make further progress instead of trying to pull them back. Some people cry so much, we want you back, we're missing you. And they, with that attachment, try to bring them back. Now the question is it possible to verify that there is life after death? I'll tell you another interesting story. Maybe I should be a storyteller. True story. This is right in the beginning, in the 60s, when I came to the United States. I had to give a talk in Detroit, Michigan. And I came on a fellowship. I came to study at Harvard University. I was in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And I knew many people who had their satsang centers or they had centers where they had meetings. So some of them invited me. But the Detroit one, they had a Ford Motor Company headquarters there. And the Ford company was responsible for funding part of the fellowship on which I came to Harvard. So they had arranged for me to visit their factory in Detroit. The General Motors, which also had a factory, they had a General Motors Technical Center. And the government had made a plan that if I come from India and I take technology from here to India, I should also visit their General Motors Technical Center, which was not open to the public, so it was special permission granted by them. So I had an appointment in two places in Detroit. So I tried to make a visit to Detroit at the same time when they were having a meeting on a weekend or something. I said, these satsangis are having a meeting, I'd like to join them. So I called the head of the satsang at that time, and I said, I have come from India, and I have some appointments to make in Ford Motor Company, and so I try to make it the same weekend when you are having a program, so I can attend. He said, he talked to his wife, said, these Indians, they come and try to exploit us or something, and he's trying to come and so he can stay here or have our food or something. He felt very mad. He said to me, sorry, we are very busy at this time, we cannot meet anybody, we can't host anybody, so sorry, we can't invite you. I said, that's alright, but I've already fixed the time on the same date that I found. I've fixed my appointment to go to the Ford Motor Company. They have arranged a guest house for me in the factory. They have also arranged one of the secretaries to receive me at the airport and take me in their company car, and I have been taken care of, so you don't worry. I went on the appointed day over there, and when I was getting out of the plane, I was coming out, and a man, elderly man, stands in front of me. He says, are you Ishwar Puri? I said, yes, sir. Are you from Ford Motor Company? He says, no. I am the guy, the president of the satsang here. I have come to take you home. I said, sorry, I have already made arrangement. You told me that you have no time and you are busy and can't see me. So I made arrangements. The secretary is waiting for me. He said, no, it's cancelled. I have cancelled your appointment and to stay in the guest house. You're staying with us. I said, but we have to tell them. He said, told them. The vice president of Ford Company, who is in charge of this factory, he is my son-in-law. I said, okay, then you must be right. So he took me in his car. He said, do you know that I have never seen you? I only know your name. I didn't know if you wear a beard, you wear a turban, or what you look like, and who you are, how old you are, young you are. No idea at all. And yet I found you. I said, how did you do that? He said, very simple. I talked to my master. I closed my eyes. I said, Master, I don't know this fellow. You tell me. When I opened my eyes, you are the next person in front of me. I said, you Americans are wonderful. I have never been able to do such a thing. I have to learn this technique from you. Anyway, we went to their house, and there was a committee of sorts of women, some elderly women, some men, sitting and making ready for a dinner for me. They sat there. I had just come from India, very little knowledge about American customs or how they want to treat their guests. We are used to something different in India. So they sat at the table and they said, we are very glad that Ishwar Puri is here from India, his great master disciple, and he will say grace. I have never said grace. I was stumped what to say now. So, just at that moment, a little wisdom came to me. Say something in your own language. You won't understand it. So I said loudly, very loudly, I said in Punjabi language, Chako ji khana. That will eat it up now. They all looked so surprised. What has he said? Then the host got up. He said, he has said some nice grace in Punjabi. I will translate it to English. Then he gave a long speech. Oh Lord, we are very happy for the food you give us. We are grateful to you. We are very happy we have a special guest come to us from India. We thank you for him. We thank you for the food. Very interesting. So I felt very alarmed because I was already started eating. So I had to put the morsel of food back. Anyway, after that, I didn't know what to do now. So I began to say, they are saying, thank you. Maybe we should have thanked for the food. They said, what are you muttering in your mouth? I said, I am saying, why do we say thank you? How can we thank the Lord? Are we equal to the Lord? Are we treating the creative power that runs this universe as somebody, just a person or somebody sitting somewhere? They said, hold on. Bring the recorder with you. And first time my talks began to be recorded. It's very interesting. Then they said that we have arranged your talk. I said, why did you arrange my talk? Don't you have your own regular meetings? They said, the regular guy comes, his name is Mr. Replogal, he comes from Chicago and he is sick. Then we have an alternate, a backup, who lives here, he is gone to India. Then third, one of us comes and that also person is not here. So we couldn't find anybody to speak. So this committee, which is now having dinner, decided, okay, this fellow is coming from India, let's get him. That's why he will tell some stories about India. So that is why we are asking you to now speak. So it was a veteran memorial hall in Detroit. They had a meeting. They took me there, and there I got up and spoke. when I spoke, before I spoke, I just closed my eyes for a minute. Because large unknown audience. But anyway, I did speak something, and there this host was sitting in front. When I finished, he got up to thank me, and he said, I know what you did. You closed your eyes and you asked your master, great master, what to say. And he must have told you what to say. It looked like great master's talk. I said, I tried. I said, let me try the American way. That you could find me by closing your eyes and asking. I said, I'll also close my eyes and ask Master, what should I tell these people? And when I closed my eyes, my master said, who are you to be my spokesman? He almost got a slap from him. It didn't work for me. He said, if I have to speak, I can speak. You quietly sit down. So I quietly sat down, and what you heard was in my body but great master's voice. So that is why you felt like this. But it is not something. Now, while this was going on, there was a man at the back standing. A Jewish man, Canadian, but then he became a US citizen later. He was standing at the back. I could see him at the end of the hall, just standing and smiling all the time. I had no idea who he was. After I went back, I had to catch a flight. I went back to Boston, and at midnight, 12 o'clock, phone rings. My host's wife calls. She says, there is a man here who is facing life and death problem. And he says he has to see you right now. And I told him, he's been calling me, I told him that look, the speaker of today has gone back. He doesn't live here. He came from Boston and he's gone back already. It's late. He said, I have to see him right now or I'll kill myself. So I had never heard this kind of emergency. So I said, how am I going to handle it? I said, is that man somewhere near you? He said, yeah, he's sitting here in our house. He has come all the way to our house. So I picked up the phone. I said, what is his name? His name is Lionel Fishman. I said, okay, Mr. Lionel, what's your problem? He said, I have to see you right now. I said, sorry, I won't see you right now. I'll see you in April. I'm coming to Chicago, to Bandara, 2nd of April, Great Master Bandara. If you can make it there, come. If you can't wait, kill yourself. I said these words. I don't know how I said them. He said, I will wait. Amazing story. Now, what has actually happened? This boy was a Jewish Canadian boy, and he came to New York, and he found they were recruiting people for the Air Force, US Air Force. This is old story, before the Second World War. He got recruited for the Second World War, and he went and he was in Japan fighting. At the end of the war, in 1945, he got married to a Japanese girl, Tai, and he loved her very much. They loved each other, and they began to have a good time. They said, we'll settle back in the United States. They came, first stayed in California, and then settled in Denver. One day, this boy and his wife, they were driving their car, and the man said, look how blessed we are. Tai, how blessed we are. We got a beautiful house. I've got a beautiful wife who takes such good care of me, such a good cook. She said, I am so happy with you. When they were saying these words, they went into a red light, a truck came, crashed into the car. Tai was killed right there. The wife was killed. This man couldn't believe. How can God, the Creator, when we are thanking Him, when we are praising Him for the blessings He has given us, kill my wife at that time? It didn't make any sense. So therefore, he got into Great Depression. He had a friend named Morton, and he called Morton, I can't survive, I have to kill myself to go and see where Ty has gone. I can't believe this thing can happen. He went to the synagogue, met the rabbis, he went to churches, he went to other holy people to find out, do you have any idea where a person goes when he dies? They said, they go to heaven or hell, something like this. They made stories, which didn't appeal to him at all. And so he said, I have to kill myself in order to go and find my wife Ty. Therefore he decided that took that antidepressants he was taking every few hours. Morton stayed by his side so he doesn't commit suicide. And he said, I am going to kill myself. He had an office in Detroit where he worked on the 6th floor of the building. He said, I'll go on a Sunday, office is closed, I have the key, I'll jump out of the window and kill myself. So on that particular Sunday, he went up to his office and he opened the door, locked up his office, and a typewriter. On the typewriter, he began to write the reasons for his taking a step to kill himself. Last-minute note. He typed out that he has been to all these people, he's been to rabbis, he's been to church priests and all, and holy people. Nobody could answer where Ty has gone, so I'm going to find out myself by killing myself. I hope God will forgive me. So when he typed that, he moved to the window, opened the window, and saw down and said, it's very easy to jump 6 floors, no problem, I will kill myself. When he was about to jump, his hand was on a table next to the window, and his hand slipped because there was a newspaper lying there. And he slipped hand, looked at the newspaper, and local newspaper, and the heading was, a man from India here to tell that there is life after death. Heading. It was a news about my talk in Detroit. And newspaper had covered that. He said, how can this happen? Just when I'm about to die, something happens and brings a newspaper here. He said, let me first find out what this is. So he read that tomorrow there will be a talk by me. And it will be held in that place, Veteran Memorial Hall. He said, I have to wait till tomorrow. Or maybe till next Sunday. So he waited. Now this is all before the telephone call, which I'm telling you. So he decided that he is to wait till tomorrow. Suddenly he realized newspaper was on Saturday. And the talk was the same day at 3 o'clock. So when he found that, he rushed because he could hardly make it in time. Meeting had already started. I was already speaking when he arrived. He was a boy standing at the back, which I saw. He tried to come forward, and there was a long line. After when I finished talking, long line, just shaking hands and saying thank you for coming. So he stood in line. Then he came close to have a look at me closely. And he came, but the line was long. So he went and there were some books being sold. And he bought one of the books. And he began to stand in line. When the line was halfway through, my host said, sorry, no more handshaking. He had to take a flight and carried me by my arm. We went out to the car and I returned. And that is when he went home and he said, how could you, he's talking to me himself, how could you do this to me? You sent me a message and I know that you sent me a message so I don't commit suicide, I have to talk to you. And therefore, I don't know where you are. He went back. The janitors said, we just cleaned up the place. We don't know who came, where they came. They just rented a hall. They rent the hall every month. We don't know who the people are. He couldn't find. He went home. He said, okay, Mr. Ishwar Puri, now it's a challenge to you. If you sent me the newspaper and called me and I have seen you and you ran away before talking to me, now you wait and see till next Sunday when I kill myself if you don't come. He's talking to him. And as he talked, it knocked like this. The lamp was knocked. This was next to him. And the book was there. And the book fell down. When he picked up the book to one of those publications by the satsang people, and the last page opened, it gave the address of people where you can contact. and he saw one address in Detroit of my host and his wife, and he picked the book, saw the telephone number, and called them. It was midnight. And that is when they called me. So what a coincidence. And he was amazed at the coincidence. But he said, I have to meet him as soon as I can. I'll try right now, he told them. But when I talked to him, okay, wait till April, otherwise go kill yourself. What is the big deal? I don't think killing and dying is a very big thing. Anyway, he waited. When he waited, after a couple of months, this was at the end of February, in April 2nd, I was in Chicago, and Bandara Great Master, I was giving a talk there. He said, I'm not interested in the talk. I want personal interview with him because I prepared a list of questions. I prepared my questions. What is life? What is death? What happens after death? What proof is there? So many questions he had written down. And he said, I have to ask him those questions. So he waited outside. Didn't come to the talk. So Bandara talk, 2nd April. And he was waiting that he has to drive me. He told me, can I drive you to Detroit? I said, I have a meeting in Detroit with an organization called Spiritual Frontiers Fellowship, SFF. And their board is waiting to see me. And the chairman is a woman, the chairwoman, and there are 5-6 people on the board. They want to meet me. So they are waiting in Detroit. I don't mind you driving me. I was going to be driven by 2 other ladies from Chicago. He said, I want to drive you because I can then talk to you on the way. And my wife was there. She said, please don't go into that car. This man is suicidal. I said, don't worry. Don't worry. He's postponed his suicide. That should make you feel happy. Anyway, they were very worried, and the ladies were to drive me, and my wife in the back car, another car, this guy alone is driving me. And he said, here are my questions. At that time, this was a new drive for me. I never had a drive from Chicago to Detroit. We go over a long bridge, Skyway or something. So I said, can't we wait till we get out of town? Please drive carefully. He said, no, we can't wait because I have too many questions to ask you. And we won't have time. Say, how long does it take to go to Detroit? Oh, 4 or 5 hours it will take. I said, surely that's a lot of time. No, you don't know my very fundamental questions to ask you. I said, please wait a few minutes. Till I can calm myself down. Anyway, we drove out, and then I began to talk to him. I said, look, this is a very simple matter. Life doesn't end when we die. Only body ends. Life continues. Then I began to explain how it is, and I said, one can even see those people who have died if we also get into the same state in which they are, which is to be a disembodied person. That can be achieved by meditation. By meditation, when we become unaware of our physical body, we become aware of our inner body, and that is when we can be like them and we can see them. Then they can see us also. But they can see us even in physical bodies because the eyes are still there, the same eyes they were seeing when they were in physical bodies. The sense perceptions remain intact. So I gave a talk and told him all this and went on and on for about 10-15 minutes, maybe 15-20 minutes. And then I waited that he'll start his long list of questions. And he was smiling. And we kept on driving. He was quiet. I said, maybe what's happened to him? I hope he's not getting suicidal again. Then we drove for about an hour, and he said, you want a rest stop? A number 1 stop? I said, yes, I would like number 1, 2, I don't know what you mean. Whatever they are, number 1, we have a stop. So we stopped at a rest place, and when we got out, my wife ran from the back. He said, are you all right? I said, perfectly all right. Then we resumed our journey. Then he spoke first time. He says, do you know, I have memorized all my 110 questions because I knew I won't be able to read it driving. I memorized all of them. And I am going over each one of them as you spoke. You answered most of them. And The remaining were irrelevant. They didn't mean anything. I have no question to ask. I was very impressed with myself. I must have done something great. I don't know what the questions were. So that is why we reached there, and then we reached there, the board of directors of SFF, Spiritual Frontiers Fellowship. They were waiting in the house of our host, same host who invited me earlier in Detroit. And this boy says, would you mind if before you start the meeting with them, you can go to my house? I set it up, and the last time when we went out and she got killed, she had set up a place for a tea party that we were going to have with a couple of friends. We never had that party. If Ishwar, you and your wife can come and just bless our house and have that tea, which I prepared, we'll be very grateful. I asked my wife, asked her board, this is a man having a suicidal thoughts and it's a life or death question, and he's requesting me to go to his house and come back. I'll take a few minutes and come back. Will it be alright? They said, it's alright, go please. Yes, we'll wait for you. I didn't know the house was far away. We drove hour and a half to his house, and then the tea took place. It was very beautifully done. She was a very aesthetic person, I can tell you, that lady, because she decorated the house in Japanese style so beautifully, and we had her tea which she had prepared. And he warmed up the tea, and we both had, and he chatted a little and drove back. I said, those people must have gone back. We'll reach at midnight now. So we reached our host's house where we were supposed to stay, and we saw the board still sitting there. And I expressed great apologies to them. I said, I'm very sorry, I had no idea. The distances are so many here, and I couldn't come in time. So I know you are waiting for me to talk to me. The president was a lady sitting in the center, and 4 or 5 people around her. So I began to say, I understand that you have, they said, this movement, fellowship, and what does self mean, what does fellowship mean. Just talked about 10-15 minutes about what the title of their organization meant. And then I said, if you have any questions, I'll be very happy to answer this. This boy was standing behind me when I was talking. So the president said, she had a paper in her hand. She said, I have no question. You have answered my questions. Then she asked the other members of the SFF, do you have any question? No. This boy laughed at the back. That's what I was waiting to hear. That happened with me. This is, of course, he got initiated, he got such good progress, and he was able to see his way. I am telling this old story, a very interesting story, how this happened, how the coincidences occurred. But the point was that if we feel that this body is our only self, we are totally mistaken. And we can verify it right now by simple process of meditation. And the process is simple, which we have been talking about the last 2 days.